The next mistake comes from trying to adapt a system that was functional with mouse and keyboard to a controller. But to understand what exactly went wrong, I need to explain the accuracy system in the Ember Guardian. Previously, weapons had different accuracy values. The way I handled accuracy was pretty basic. The lower the accuracy, the further the bullet could land from where you were actually aiming. Expectedly, this sometimes led to frustrating moments where you'd aim perfectly at a creature, but RNG decided your shot would miss. So I reworked the system inspired by Helldivers 2. Now your shot always lands exactly where your weapon pointer is, but the pointer continuously moves around the mouse cursor. The lower your accuracy, the bigger the pointer's movement. Accuracy is also reactive to the player's state. It improves when crouching or decreases when moving or running. Taking damage or getting exhausted applies a huge accuracy penalty. This accuracy is represented on screen by the size of the weapon's crosshair. The larger the brackets, the lower the accuracy. This system improved shooting overall, but I ran into problems when trying to adapt it to a controller. I didn't take enough time to rethink it and simply tried to translate it one-to-one. I kept the weapon crosshair and positioned it at a fixed distance to the player. When the player was using the aim joystick, I'd push it along that direction, and to represent weapon range, I would position the pointer closer or further to the player. But this created a new problem for long-range weapons. Aiming vertically would push the crosshair off the screen. And here, instead of redesigning the system, I applied a quick fix. The crosshair would follow a weird curved path around the player to keep it visible. And the results? Playing with a controller felt worse than playing with mouse and keyboard. I had trapped myself in a mental scheme where I believed using a crosshair was the only way to convey the accuracy information, but it was hurting the shooting experience with a controller too much, so I had no choice but to change it. I then tried a laser pointer system, completely removing the crosshair. This felt much better. At first the laser pointer was too present on the screen, so I made it fade out when not needed. For example, when the player isn't using the aim joystick, or when shooting. At that point the bullets themselves become the indicator. What I realized after implementing the pointer is that indeed it doesn't convey accuracy information as well as a crosshair. But this is balanced by the fact it gives much clearer information on weapon range, which is represented by the laser pointer's length. And this makes a huge difference when aiming from afar. With a mouse, you often have to guess if your shot will reach the target. The controller adaptation showed me that sometimes trying to preserve every detail from one input to another can actually make things worse. By simplifying the inputs and balancing them with different types of feedback, like the mouse showing accuracy and the laser pointer showing range, the system feels intuitive and satisfying, even if it's not identical to the mouse version. There is a pattern I fall a lot into as a developer.